So today's lesson, understanding the Instagram algorithm and 3 ways to get it on your side. Okay, I'm actually going to give you about 7 different things that you can do today, but there's 3 main categories that the Instagram algorithm pays attention to. So all of my tips are going to be divided up into those 3 categories. So the first thing I want to ask you is, does this sound like you? These are some screenshots from my Facebook group. This person said, does anyone else think Instagram is no fun anymore? I think the algorithm ruined it for me. Are you feeling that way? Let me know in the chat if you are, because I think that you're not alone. Even I feel this way. The Instagram algorithm really switched things up for us, and it can become really frustrating when we're not seeing the results we want to see because of it. This person said, is it just me, or has IG kindly decided to mess things up even more by yet again changing the algorithm? My reach almost cut in half over the last few days. This definitely happened to me about a year or so ago, where I was getting really great engagement. I was getting a couple thousand likes per post, and then all of a sudden it was literally cut in half, and I felt like shit about it. I mean, I am an Instagram educator, so of course it's important to me to have great engagement and, be walking the walk and talking the talk at the same time. So that was definitely hard for me. And my guess is that you are also experiencing this. And that's the first thing that I want to talk about today and just address right away, is that the decrease in engagement is happening to everyone, okay? It's straight across the board. Everyone's experiencing it. It's not just you. So we need to kind of adapt a little bit and understand that we're not going to get the same engagement that we got a year or 2 years ago, okay? Things have changed. Everybody's getting less now. So let's just get that out of the way. I want you to understand that, and now we can move forward. So if you don't understand how the algorithm functions, it doesn't matter how good your content is, you will always miss out on more reach and more engagement. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. We need to first understand how the Instagram algorithm actually works in order to get it to actually work for us, okay? So what's the secret? What is the secret of the Instagram algorithm? That is the big question that we need to understand. So the answer is, the longer you are on the app, the more money Instagram makes. Okay, that is the secret of the algorithm. Instagram's primary goal is to keep its users on the app for as long as possible, because the longer you're on the app, the more opportunities they have to show you advertisements, okay? So the longer you are on the app, the more money Instagram makes. You need to remember that. I want you to already start thinking about that. How can I create content that keeps someone on the app longer? Because if I do that, I'm going to be rewarded by Instagram. So the Instagram algorithm is broken up into 3 categories, 1 being interest, 2 being timeliness, and 3 being relationship. So I'm going to break down all of these for you, and I'm going to give you tips on how you can improve each one of these sections so that you get a better result from the Instagram algorithm. So the first one is interest. So Instagram has stated that the order of the photos and videos in your feed will first be based on the likelihood you'll be interested in the content, okay? So that means that Instagram is trying to show you content that it thinks you're interested in, okay? It's no longer showing you everything in your feed. Instead, it's just gonna show you what it thinks that you're going to like the most. So you might be asking, well, how does Instagram determine what we're interested in? Well, it's based on your previous actions, okay? So Instagram is looking at things like the posts that you've liked, posts you've commented on, stories you've watched, who you follow, who you're sending DMs to, and accounts that you've searched for, okay? So based on this information, Instagram can say, oh, well, Alex is definitely interested in travel because she always likes travel photos. That means that out of all the people that I'm following, the ones that are posting travel content are gonna get pushed to the top. So that's great, but how do we use this information to increase our own engagement? Okay, that's the question that you need to be asking. You're gonna understand how each of these elements work, and then how are you gonna make them work for you, okay? So that's great that if I engage with travel content, then I know I'm gonna see travel content, but from the business standpoint, we wanna make sure that our audience sees it, and for them to see it, they have to prove that they're interested in it, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So it's not enough for us to think that well, I know my audience and I know that they love when I post quote pictures. It's not enough for us to just say that. We need to actually prove it, and we need them to prove it to the Instagram algorithm so that our content is always shown to them, okay? So that's what I'm gonna show you now. So the interest action tip number 1 is to determine what your ideal audience is already interested in. Okay, and when I say ideal audience, or I might say target market, what I mean by that is the people that are most likely to enjoy your content and most likely to buy whatever product or service you are ultimately selling. Okay, this is your ideal customer. So every effort that you put into Instagram needs to go towards getting that particular person over to your feed. So what we're gonna do is jump into Instagram, head over to your Instagram profile, and then from here, you're gonna go to your notifications tab. So I'm sure you've seen this a million times before, you're comfortable with this, but have you ever tapped this following tab on the top left here? If not, then you're gonna learn about this today. Now, most people don't talk about this. It doesn't have a whole lot of utility day to day, but in this particular moment, we need this tab to kind of help us determine what our ideal audience is interested in. So the important thing to note is that if you are not following any of your ideal audience, this isn't going to work, okay? If you have a business specific account, and I don't just mean a business profile, but the actual account that you're trying to grow and you're trying to get a specific type of person to your feed to potentially sell to them, then you need to be following your ideal audience from that account, okay? 1, it's a good way to connect with your audience, and 2, it helps us with mining this data and finding out information about them, okay? So there's nothing wrong with following people from your audience, okay? I know that a lot of people get kind of cringy and a little bit nervous about following other people, but it's okay as long as you're doing it genuinely and you're actually interested in them and you are planning to connect with them, okay? The whole follow unfollow thing is a different topic for a different day, so we won't get into that, but you do need to be following some of your ideal audience for this next tip to work. So now that I'm on the following tab, what we can see here is what our followers are actually interacting with, okay? We're gonna see photos that they're liking and comments that they're leaving. So the idea is that we're gonna scroll through this page, see what they're actually interested in, and then I can adjust my content to be similar so that they're going to show interest in my content as well. So I'm just gonna scroll through this really quickly and just look for some kind of pattern, okay? What are you seeing pop up the most? So right away, I'm seeing a lot of faces and a lot of people. Secondly, I'd say I'm seeing a lot of text or graphics-based posts. There's a little mixture of, like animals and nature and things like that, but overwhelmingly, I'm seeing a lot of people and then a lot of posts with text on it, which is most likely motivational post or something like that. And if I'm interested in what it is, I can go ahead and click on that image and actually see what that was, okay? So I can look at that and say, maybe I should post more content that looks like this. You're also gonna wanna look at what comments people are leaving and who they're following. So obviously what you see here is gonna be different for everyone, but the whole point is that you get in there, you look for those patterns, and then you determine, okay, my audience really likes when people are in the photo, so I need to post more photos of myself or of other people in order to get them to be interested in my content. Okay, so that's the first action tip that I want you to do today. The next action tip is to use more video. Okay, so remember how I told you that Instagram's #1 goal is to keep people on the app longer? Well, that means that if you're posting content that keeps someone on the app longer, such as a video that's maybe 60 seconds long, that's one, going to make Instagram happy because you're keeping them on the app for 60 extra seconds. And it's also telling Instagram that this person is definitely interested in your content if they stayed on your feed for more than a couple of seconds, okay? If you post a great video and they watch for that whole 60 seconds, that's gonna signal to Instagram that this particular person is interested in your content, and that's going to improve your chances of them seeing your content in the future, okay? So you definitely wanna make sure that you're always thinking about how am I gonna keep people on my feed or on the app longer. So the last thing that you can do to prove that your audience is interested in your content to the algorithm is to write longer captions. Okay, this is the same concept as using video. If your captions are longer, it's going to take someone longer to read it, which means they're gonna stay on Instagram longer, which Instagram wants, and they're going to stay on your feed longer, which proves to Instagram that they're interested in your content. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And these are really simple things that you can implement today. We don't need to overcomplicate anything. We just need to understand how the Instagram algorithm works and how we're going to work with it. Okay, so that's number one. That's all about the interest category. So the second category is timeliness. So Instagram prioritizes newer content because it believes it's more relevant, okay? So basically Instagram's saying that, yeah, you posted a great image last week and maybe it got 1,000 likes and that was cool, but we don't really care about that anymore because there's no chance that it's relevant anymore, which obviously is not the truth. If you posted something a few days ago, it's still relevant to your followers, but Instagram doesn't see it as new enough, okay? So some people might start assuming that I need to post more often in order for Instagram to think that my content is more relevant. But the truth is that the newness of a post is based on a user's last active time on the app and not how recently you posted, okay? So this is about your audience more so than it's about you. So I know that's a little bit weird and kind of hard to understand, so I actually created a little diagram for you that I hope will help. So imagine this. You post to Instagram at 8 a.m. Then your audience comes online about 11 a.m. So that's a 3-hour gap from when you posted and when the bulk of your audience is online. But because of that gap, Instagram is more likely to show that user newer posts, okay? And by newer, that simply means posts that were shared at 10:35, 10:40, 10:50, 10:59. So posts that were shared much closer to the time that when your audience comes online, okay? So that 3-hour gap might seem small in theory, but in the Instagram algorithm, it's huge, okay? Instagram thinks, you know, that was 3 hours ago. It's no longer relevant. We need to show this person the most recent stuff. So based on that, that means posting multiple times a day is not the answer. Posting when your audience is most likely to be online is, okay? So what we need to do is determine when is my audience online and then post at those times, okay? You don't want to post too early or too late. You want to post right when they're online. So the first thing that we can do is use your Instagram insights to determine the best time to post. So to do that, we're going to jump back into Instagram and then we're going to go to our Instagram insight. So you do need to have a business profile to access the Instagram insights. If you don't have that, don't worry, just hang on for a few minutes. I am going to show you an alternative, but if you have it, what you need to do is go to your profile, hit that hamburger icon in the top right, and then hit insights. From here, you're going to tap the audience tab and then scroll down to the bottom to check when your audience is online. So at the bottom, you'll see this followers section here. You're going to see this bar graph. So what we can tell from this is that the taller and darker the blue the bars are, the more active your audience is, okay? So basically what this is telling me is that on Mondays around 9 and 12 p.m., most of my audience is online. Okay, so that means that I want to post within that time frame. So as you can see, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., it starts to go down drastically. So I don't want to post at those times because I'm less likely to reach most of my audience, which means less people are going to see it, which means less people are going to like it, which means my post isn't going to be as successful as if I posted around this 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. gap. Okay, so you can toggle the button here to see what it looks like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. Obviously, this is going to look different for you. So you definitely want to toggle through all the days here and make note of when your audience is online per day, okay? Because depending on when you're going to post, it might be a different time for you, okay? So that's the first way that you should check when your best time to post is. The next thing we can do is try an app to help us figure out what our best time to post is. So just a disclaimer is I do not promote third-party apps that violate Instagram's terms of service. So I am sharing this one with you, which means that it is safe and it is not going to damage your account. The first thing you're going to do is download the app called When to Post. Once you have that downloaded, you're going to open it up and it's going to look like this. From here, you're going to tap the login with Instagram button. And this is what I want you to pay attention to. Whenever you're using a third-party app, this type of screen should show up when it asks you to log in, okay? This is Instagram's official API. If you're seeing something that does not look like this, do not put your username or password in it, because the owner of that app is gathering your data and they have access to it, okay? When you sign up through an API like this, it's handled securely and your data is not given to anybody, okay? So I'm just quickly going to log in here. And once you're logged in, you're going to see something like this. So this app tries to tell you when your best time to post is, okay? So it's actually quite robust. It tells you up to the minute generally when is a good time for you to post. And it also tells you if right now is a good time to post, okay? So at the very top, you can see it says right now, and right now that bar is green and it says post, okay? So it's telling me that my audience is online right now and that I should post. If you open the app at a time that you shouldn't post, that bar is red and it says do not post. Then you'll see your best times for today. So they give you 3 options. They also tell you how far away your next best time is. And then if you scroll down, you're going to see the days of the week. And again, some brighter bars that represent when your audience is most likely to be on. Okay, so on Tuesday, interesting enough, if I go ahead and tap that, it looks like 7:15 p.m. is actually my best time on a Tuesday. So that's obviously really valuable information, okay? So if you don't have Instagram Insights, or you do have it and you want to cross-reference, then this app is great, okay? So I suggest looking here, also looking in your Instagram Insights, and then taking the data from that and deciding this time is the best time for me to post, okay? So you can see there's also some locked features up here. There is a premium version of this app, which I have not invested in, so I can't speak on what they offer there, but definitely something for you to feel free to explore. All right, so the third category that the Instagram algorithm looks at is called relationship. So Instagram has said that no matter how many accounts you follow, you should see your best friend's latest posts. So what they're trying to say is that we prioritize your friends and family posts more so than anybody else. But how does Instagram know who my friends and family are? Well, they base it on, again, your previous actions, okay? So similar to the interest category, Instagram is looking at actions that you've taken. But more specifically, they're looking at the actions between 2 accounts, okay? So the relationship between myself and another account. So they're looking for mutual likes. So if I like an account's photo and they like my photos back, they're also looking for comment replies. So if someone comments on my posts and I respond to them, then that's showing that we have a relationship. Okay, they're also looking for exchanged DMs, story views and replies, and tags in posts and comments. So if I'm tagging my friend in a post, that's telling Instagram that, I have a relationship with this person and we're sharing content with each other. So what they're looking for overall is mutual interaction, okay? If I like someone's photos all the time, but they never like mine back, then there's no relationship there. But if we're always exchanging likes and comments and DMs and things like that, then it's very obvious to Instagram that we have a relationship, okay? So they're assuming that, you would be doing that with your best friend or your brother or your sister or your mom, whatever. So the more relationship you have with someone, the more likely they're going to see your content, okay? So a strong relationship is 2-sided. That means that you must be proactive in establishing the relationship, okay? So what you need to do is dedicate at least 10 minutes a day to building relationships with your ideal audience, okay? So I bring up ideal audience again because it's super important that all of this effort that you're putting out into Instagram is going to your ultimate goal, which is to get the right people to your feed, the right people to follow you, and eventually the right people to buy whatever it is that you're selling. So what you want to do is go into your follower list, okay? These are people that are already following you. They're already potentially going to see your content, but if you haven't built a relationship with them, then they may not actually see it, okay? If Instagram doesn't think that you guys have a relationship besides them following you, then that might not be enough for your content to be shown to them. So you're going to go into your following list, randomly pick someone, go ahead and leave them a couple likes, and maybe write a comment. When you leave comments, you want to make sure that they're genuine, that they actually take into account what the person has said in their caption, maybe uses their first name, etc. You want to make sure that you're really doing your part to build the relationship properly. You can also look for accounts that have the colored circle around their profile picture, which means they have an active story, and go ahead, watch that, and send or respond to it. Okay, it's really easy, and what you're doing is opening up the lines of communication. When that person responds to you, that signals to Instagram that these people have a relationship. They're chatting via DM together. They commented back and forth to each other. And that means that we should probably show Alex's content to this person because that's potentially one of her friends or her family, okay? So I want you to dedicate at least 10 minutes a day to doing this. 10 minutes is really not that long, and it makes a really, really big impact. The next thing you need to do is always use a strong call to action to encourage relationship building actions, okay? When you share a post to Instagram and you've written your caption, at the end of every single caption, you need to have a call to action. Okay, so what is a call to action? Well, it's when you say, leave a comment below, or double tap this if you agree, or tag a friend that you think needs to see this. All of these things are calls to action, and they're encouraging your audience to take action on your account. You're encouraging them to leave a comment, and when they leave that comment, you're going to respond, and that's going to signal that relationship in the algorithm, okay? So you should be doing this proactively and also passively with a call to action. So those are the 3 different categories that go into the Instagram algorithm. I know I just threw a ton of information at you, so I want to do a little recap to make sure that you understand everything that I shared today. So the first thing that we learned is that the Instagram algorithm's #1 goal is to keep us on the app longer, okay? Again, this is the most important thing that you can take away from this workshop today, is that you need to help Instagram keep people on the app longer. If you do that, Instagram will reward you. So to do that, you want to post content that's interesting and encourages users to spend more time on your posts. Okay, remember I said to use video and write longer captions and check out what your current following is engaging with so that you can create content just like that. You also want to hone in on the perfect time to post rather than posting a lot. By knowing exactly when the best time for you specifically to post every single day is, that's going to improve your chances of posting when the bulk of your audience is online, and that's going to boost you in the algorithm. And lastly, we talked about engaging with your target market daily to establish relationships that the Instagram algorithm recognizes. Having a strong and obvious relationship with your audience is key to Instagram showing them your content, okay? So that is it for today, guys. I hope you learned something new. I hope you really took away some actionable advice that you can implement on your account today. That is my goal here, and that is my goal with the following workshops, which you guys know. The next one is going to be on Wednesday, May 1st, and it's all about 3 mistakes that you might be making that are costing you followers and engagement. Okay, you definitely don't want to miss this one, because if you are making these mistakes, it's definitely hampering your ability to grow and your ability to get more engagement. So I definitely want you to show up for that. It's May 1st at 9 a.m. PST or 12 noon EST. If you already signed up for the series, then you're gonna get sent the link for that, so not to worry. But if you're not signed up, then go to alextube.com/edu and sign up there so that you get access to the following workshops, okay? So again, just to reiterate, on May 3rd, I am launching a brand new Instagram program, which I'm super excited about, and I hope that you're super excited about. And if you enjoyed this lesson, then you're going to really, really love the program, because this and what I'm sharing in the next few workshops is literally just the tip of the iceberg. You're gonna learn so much more and go so much more in depth in my new program. So I'm excited to share that with you guys on May 3rd. So I hope you will join me for that big launch date. So that's it for today, guys. I will see you on Wednesday for the next workshop. Bye.